It's high noon in the Old West, and you know what that means. It means it's time to head back to the farm. Knott's Berry Farm, that is. Down on Market Street again, past the old handmade adobe ruins here. Which, yes, were also created right here on the farm. You will find Knott's Berry Farm's old original bottle house. Completed in 1945 and constructed of more than 3,000 actual glass bottles, mostly champagne bottles, by the way. This beloved Paul von Kleben designed building is one of Knott's Berry Farm's most iconic structures. And you can actually see Paul von Kleben's original concept art in the book Knott's Preserved by another fantastic theme park historian, Chris Merritt. As hard as it is to believe, bottle houses were an actual part of Old West history. Lumber was not always readily available in the Old West, particularly in the desert communities. But there was one thing the Old West had plenty of, and that was saloons. Saloons that would go through thousands of glass bottles as quick as you could say lackadaisical. The first documented bottle house was constructed in Tonopah, Nevada in 1902 by a fella named William F. Peck out of more than 10,000 beer bottles. Sadly, that one was torn to the ground in the 1980s, so we can't visit it today, but there is another surviving Old West bottle house in Rhyolite, Nevada, which we have actually visited before and which provided the direct inspiration for Walter Knott's version here at Knott's Berry Farm. Now, like I said, the bottle house is very popular. A lot of people know it's here, take pictures of it, and come inside to check out the plentiful assortment of Native American souvenirs in here, which they've been selling in here since at least the late 60s. I know at some point before that they actually had the glass blowing in this building, which seems very fitting considering how much glass we're surrounded by. But check out these pictures Ken Stack sent me from at least 50 years ago inside the bottle house. Look at those old bottle shelves right there, and of course, the Native American souvenirs. One of the photos taken from pretty much this very spot of this exact window, and you can tell that by looking at the bottles right here against the wall. Those same bottles are still there, including this half-broken bottle right here. How awesome is that? Anyway, back in that picture, you can see that big drum. It was just pointed out to me that that very drum is still here in the bottle house. That is incredible. Now, these days, the bottle house still plays host to some Native American gifts and souvenirs, but it's largely been taken over by LGH Ceramics, a family-owned company who, just like the old school Knott's vendors of the past, are offering something very unique to park guests in the form of customizable, hand-paintable ceramics sculpted and cast right here in the USA by the family that's running this place. And unlike the paint your own ceramics chain stores, a lot of these designs are one-of-a-kind, unique things that you will never find anywhere else. Look what they created for the Boysenberry Festival, little ceramic boysenberry pies. And it's basically Knott's Berry Farm's best kept secret, because for some reason there's no sign outside letting you know that there are ceramic treasures within. Anyway, I'm letting all the ceramics get to my head and distract me. The reason I walked you over here was to point out that even though people are very familiar with the bottle house, they don't often realize that it's actually 3 buildings in one. Because although they're now all connected inside and you can enter into the bottle house and then walk right back to the ceramics, back in the day, the 3 facades here were very much separate structures, each with their own theme, and that middle one there where all those people are walking out was once the old Knott's Berry Farm Music Hall. And beyond that, although totally forgotten today, this little adobe, almost Pueblo-style building on the end was once the old Butterfield Stage Line office. Another quick little tidbit, you might have noticed back in that old picture how there was a brick wall next to this window I showed you the before and after of. That's because it had to be knocked out to open up the music hall and the bottle house into one big shop. So that's interesting, but this last thing I think is very interesting, going all the way back to the 40s and 50s when people who lived in the neighborhood could just walk in with no fence. There was no admission fee to Knott's Berry Farm. Apparently it was a tradition for local lovers to come in here and roll up little notes about their romance and put them into the bottles. So it is extremely hard to see or show you, but deep inside of many of these bottles are either the dusty, decaying remnants where they've sort of fallen apart, or sometimes perfectly preserved little rolled up notes from the lovers of the past. Knott's Berry Farm's hidden treasure. Hello, Justin Scard here. If you enjoyed that clip from one of our Random Land adventures, you can check out full episodes on our main channel, youtube.com/Justin Scard. We have over 1,000 action-packed episodes there for you. Do me a favor, go over and check it out. Maybe give us a thumbs up. Check out the links down below in the description for some sick merch. Because on Random Land, you never know where we're gonna end up. 10 years and counting, and the adventure's just beginning.